How's everybody today? What'd you guys do during the rain today? Stayed dry? Yeah. Well, I was really kind of encouraged by the progress that we made. I think there's a lot of improvement between scrimmage 1 and scrimmage 2. A lot more guys were able to execute. I think there's a lot that we have to work on. I think the key to the drill is, you know, can you ask yourself the question, can I do my job on a consistent basis? All right, that means three things. Can I play with the kind of effort, the kind of toughness, and be responsible to know what to do, how to do it, why it's important to do it that way, and do it over and over and over, regardless of the circumstance in the game, regardless of the situation in the game. I think we had more guys that could do that today, but I also think we need to have more guys that can do that with confidence, that are young players that have a chance to contribute to this team, that have to develop that confidence between, you know, now and then. So there's a difference between having success and being successful. You've probably heard me talk about that before. You know, you can have success on one play. You know, to be successful, you have to have success on play after play after play over a long period of time, and that is what makes you a consistent performer and a successful player. So that's what we need to be focused on. That's what we really need to try to do. And every player has to look at, all right, can I do that? Can I do my job? And then when they look at the film, they have to self-assess so they know what they have to work on. And then when we go to practice next week, everybody can go practice with a purpose in terms of what they need to improve on. So we put ourselves in the best position to be able to play our best that we can in the first game, you know, against a very good team. That's the key to the drill. So, you know, one of the things that was a little discouraging today, we moved the ball early in the scrimmage a couple times offensively, stalled in the red area, turned the ball over in the red area. So those are not the kind of things. We got to be able to finish drives, all right, and score points. And I think that's something that we had a rain delay today, but I was really kind of, you know, it was 22 minutes. We stayed out there in the rain, then we got some lightning, so we had to go in, and it was 22 minutes. But I'm saying that's just like halftime. So let's see how we go out and play in the second half. And I actually thought the energy was a little bit better when we went out there than, you know, when we left. So, you know, a lot of good things that are encouraging today. You know, from an injury standpoint, you know, Bo has been ill for 2 days, pretty sick. Not even, I'm talking about ill enough to be in bed. You know, we don't think this is a serious illness or anything like that, but it is something that we didn't think it would be good for him not to be in a position where he could be resting. Josh Jacobs, we talked about that before, did not scrimmage because of his injury. I do not know, he's still day-to-day as to when he'll be able to come back and when he'll be able to start working, you know, again. Donnie Lee, who has been a very productive, good team player for us as a receiver, got a knee injury today. We'll have to confirm the seriousness of that with an MRI, but that's about it from an injury standpoint.
Coach, you talked during the week about wanting to make it more game-like, advance that from the first scrimmage to the second. How was the communication offensively? How did that work today?
Well,
also,
it was good. You know, I had a headset on, and you know, we're very decisive about what we're doing. I think we play better tempo-wise offensively when we go fast, which may be a good thing for us, and we did both today. But the organization, the communication was good. We didn't have issues, didn't have problems. We didn't have delay of game, substitution penalties. We didn't have any of those issues.
And did you keep the sideline the same? Is Coach Dable up or down?
Yeah, Coach Dable was on the sidelines. We had press box organization today. The coaches that are going to be in the press box are in the press box. The ones that could be on the phone and talk, the ones that couldn't talk, the ones that were doing administrative work, same people will be on the sidelines. Worked special teams, you know, substitutions just like a game. So it was much more game-like for probably the first, I'm going to say, 60 plays of the scrimmage, you know, back and forth. which is, pretty close to 30 plays with each team. And then we did some situational stuff, good against good.
I was wondering what you saw from the special teams today. Was it an improvement from the first scrimmage?
Yeah, we were much better. I mean, J.K. made a 51-yard field goal. I thought, Joseph, I think, kicked 2 field goals, made 1, missed 1. I think we made the rest. What's that? Andy was 3 for 3. And we kicked a couple of them now when it was pouring down the rain. And I thought it was really a good sort of situation for us to have to play in. We've had some wet ball practice this fall because we've had quite a few rainy days, but it certainly paid off. When I was at LSU, we played a game against Oregon State, the first game of the season. I mean, it rained as hard as you've ever seen it rain for the whole game. And I think we won the game by 1 point. So there may be a circumstance and a situation, like we had today. Missouri a few years ago. I had to sit in the locker room for 45 minutes or an hour and come back out and play a game. So none of these experiences are bad. They're all good for players to learn how to respond to.
Just wondered how the progress you've seen from the 2 backup quarterbacks since they've come in the spring. Where are they now compared to where they were then?
Well, I think that, Tua has really progressed nicely. He had a good day today. Probably had a few more opportunities, made a couple explosive plays, and he's making very, very good progress. And I think Mac is doing the same. But we have to sort of say, okay, who are we going to get ready to play here? We got first quarterback Jalen. All right, then we got a guy that we got to be able to have ready to play as a backup. All right, and then we got to bring Mac along the best we can. And he's made good progress, and he got some opportunities today and didn't do a bad job.
Coach, just a little off the subject, but on Monday we've got the solar eclipse. Are there any special precautions you have to take with the team, considering the eye damage possibilities are that you have thought about?
We'll set it up so if the players want to go out there and get some sunglasses and look at it, I guess they can. That's not something that I'm really that focused on right now. I watch the Weather Channel every day. They're already saying what it's going to look like in every city in America, so what's going to be significant? Just watch the Weather Channel. You see what's going to be like in Portland, Oregon. Clayton, Georgia is the #1 place in the country to have 100%. There are all kind of people there. My house will probably be the only empty house on the whole lake. So I'm going to watch it on TV. Maybe we should have a team meeting about how we're going to do this. I haven't thought of that yet. Excuse me?
Hey, Nick, I know every practice is important, every scrimmage is important, but on second ones, can you allow that it's just the importance of it when you've got one under your belt, you got another one left, you're still in the grind of middle of fall practice?
Well, look, I think every day as a coach, you want to see the players execute well. That's the #1 thing you're looking for. I talked about effort, I talked about toughness, but ability to execute on a consistent basis. I mean, that's really what makes you a good team. Everybody doing their job, that gives the unit the best chance to be successful. So I want to see that all the time. But I think as a coach, what you look at is where are we in all that? And wherever we are, that's where we have to progress from. And I think that we made progress for this scrimmage. I'm pleased with the progress that we made. Are we where I'd love for us to be? To say that I think we're like the identity of this team, regardless of what anybody says, anybody ranks you or rakes you, and we certainly appreciate the fact that people acknowledge, the program here. But this team's identity is based on what they do moving forward in the games that they have in the future. And that's what every player should be looking at relative to what they need to do to improve, and that's what every unit and our team should be looking at, and I hope that's what we're focused on.
You talked about the pass rush this week. How do you see them improve out there today?
Well, we got work to do on pass rush. Not only how we rush, we got guys that can rush, all right, but how you affect the quarterback. All right, and it's not just sacking the guy. I've talked about this before many, many times. You know, you got to affect the guy in the pocket. The rush has got to be able to control the quarterback, and we need to continue to work on that. And I like some of the things that I see in the pass rushers, but look, you got to make decisions in pass rush just like you got to make decisions when you're covering a guy, just like you got to make decisions when you're batting in baseball. Is it a ball or a strike? You know, do I use this move based on the way the guy sits? How do I push the pocket? Do I go outside, inside? How do I stay in my lane? So there's a lot to it. I don't want to get pushed by the quarterback, so I try to beat the guy with speed, and I'm getting pushed by the quarterback. Now we're playing with 10. All right, so all these things we need to work on and improve so we can be effective pass rushers, not just pass rushers. There's a difference.
Last two, Chris and Alex.
With 2 weeks to the season starts, how do you go into this week between the scrimmage and not having one next week? And is there anything different? And when do you really start turning the page to Florida State?
No, I mean, we kind of have a plan about when we're going to start, you know, working on Florida State. I think philosophically, you know that I've always been one that thinks if you practice too long against somebody, everybody gets stale by the time you play the game. And, you know, I think we have work to do on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll sort of make an assessment of where we are and then decide where we go from there, whether we're ready to start preparation for the game and have a couple extra practices for it, or exactly when we'll do that.
Last one with Alex.
Nick, you've talked a couple times about part of Jalen's progress this offseason is his decision-making, whether or not to take off and make certain reads. How do you feel he's taken that step as a decision maker in those moments when maybe he gets flushed or in the pocket or something of that nature?
You talking about Jalen? I think Jalen has developed more confidence as a passer. I think his ability to scramble is still a tremendous asset for him. I think he's learned how to use that a little bit better and be an effective passer. So I think systematically we're better in that regard. I think that, you know, I think when people look at passing efficiency, it's about 11 people, not about one. Not just about the quarterback. You know, we got to protect. We got to run routes the right way. You know, there's a lot of chemistry between the route runners and the quarterback. The timing, decision making, accuracy, a lot of things that involve a lot of people. And Jalen has certainly improved in that regard. And I think our entire team, though, needs to improve relative to that as well.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you, guys.